Okay. Good. We're starting to see some attendees pop in now. So everyone's going to start filing in on our list there. Welcome, everyone. Got a few people joining us already. All right. So as always, Melissa, we're going to chat, and we were talking about this yesterday.
Yes.
And I know, with the good weather and the planting, we were talking about this. I want to see when all these people get in here. We can throw out some questions. But you did some planting this weekend, right? Some gardening.
I did some gardening. You can see my rosy arms a little bit. Maybe didn't put enough sunscreen on, but
Okay, yeah, that happens, right?
I got a nice garden going. And question for the Nobleton area folks, if you can find me some parsley, somewhere that's selling parsley plants, let me know.
Ooh, okay. So if people in the chat type it in, if you know where to get parsley plants, please type it in the chat in the Nobleton area. Anyone have any suggestions on that?
Sold out everywhere.
See, usually it's basil that's sold out everywhere, not parsley. No one can find basil. Oh, Giacomo wrote my nonna's house. Metro in Aurora, Laura writes. Okay. So Giacomo, maybe you can go cut a little bit of parsley out of Nonna's garden and bring it for Melissa here. Vince's in Tottenham had parsley and basil plants recently. There you go, Melissa.
I was lucky enough to get the basils. That's good.
Yeah, we actually planted some seeds this weekend for lettuce because we couldn't find lettuce, so we've gone old school planting seeds.
Lettuce, Garden Foods had, and No Froze Nobleton.
It had lettuce plants?
Yeah. Last week they did.
Oh my gosh. All right. Do they have kale? Do they have kale plants?
Kale I got at Garden Foods.
Okay, sounds like Garden Foods has got lots of stuff going on.
They had a lot when I went.
Yeah.
So see if it's still there.
So for everyone who's on so far, in the chat, type what's your favorite herb to grow in a garden or eat. What kind of herb? There's basil, parsley, cilantro, basil. Okay, let's see. Let's get a little tally here. We got basil, dill and basil,
Mojito mint.
Mojito mint for Melissa. That's for you. Yeah, you told me you got that one. Rosemary, love it. Yeah, basil for sure. Okay, good. Keep going, folks. Basil and yes, mojito mint. I love it. Sage, Giacomo, yes. Butter sage. Oh, that's good. You ever had butter sage pasta? So good. Basil and tarragon, bay leaf, good. More basil, lavender. Now, is lavender, like I saw it at the store, can you actually, do you just use it as a fragrance or did people use it in cooking? I don't even know. Oh, for mosquitoes.
Okay, good to know.
You can add it to tea. Look, see, we're learning stuff. This is what I miss about my job right now, is that, every day I see patients and I learn so much stuff every day from patients, and that's why I love my job. But so I'm learning more right now. Look, Giacomo, he's so chichi in herbe de Provence. I'd like to see that meal, Giacomo. Nice. De-stress, that's right. So that's where you find it. Okay. See, I really know nothing about lavender. All right, okay. But it's a fragrance, right? You put it in your tea or whatever. That's where you find it. Yes. Okay, guys, we're just going to wait again a few minutes just to let everyone stream in. We hope you're enjoying this wonderful summer weather in May. It's so crazy. We go from 10-degree weather to now 35-degree weather. I don't know what Mother Nature's doing to us. I think Mother Nature's slowly weaning us out here. I don't know what it is, but it's good nonetheless. For those attending so far, thank you once again for your attendance today. This is great. Melisa has a really great presentation ready for you guys for your eye health in the digital age, which I'm sure we are all stuck in the digital age now of this stuff, especially with COVID-19, eh, Melisa?
Yes, we're hearing a lot of people calling in with complaints of computer vision syndrome, spending more time indoors on screens, maybe using laptops where they're used to desktops at the office, that kind of thing. So hopefully, there's some good take-home points from today's presentation.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. I mean, we're all staring at screens nowadays for sure, and sucks, but I guess that's kind of the world we're in right now, eh?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, folks, Melisa, she's going to tell us about herself here. We'll just wait a minute or two, but Melisa's. I get my glasses there. These ones, awesome. Love them. So she's been a really great member of the community. We love building relationships with all our health professionals in the community. So if you live locally or if you're nearby and you need an optometrist, she's the one. So she takes care of my kids, and they love talking to Dr. Melisa about their eyes. My son wore his little baseball glasses that he got from me.
Nice. Is he using the solar clip-ons?
Yes, he loves them. You should see him. He's walking around like he's a rock star with them on. It's hilarious.
Good.
No, it's good. All right, I think we got quite a few people in here. We'll see some more that'll stream in slowly. But why don't we get started? What do you think, Melisa?
Sounds good to me, yeah. Let's dive right in. And
all right.
I do want to thank you for organizing these webinars. I've learned a lot the last couple of weeks, so hopefully I can contribute to that. But thank you and Giacomo for organizing this. It's a great idea. And with that, let's get started. So
you got it.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Melisa Siragusa. I am the owner and optometrist, one of the optometrists working at Nobleton Optometry. We've been in town since 2014, but I've been practicing since 2012. So before we get started with the presentation, this is a question I get asked all the time, and it's what is the difference between an optometrist and an ophthalmologist? So really quickly here, I'm an optometrist. So you can think of me like your general practitioner. So I am like the family physician for the eyes. I did an undergraduate degree, and then following that, I went off to optometry school for an additional 4 years. And then I got licensed as an OD, or doctor of optometry. So what our scope includes is that we do your annual visits, your diabetic exams. We can treat eye infections. We can prescribe medications. In addition to what you probably more commonly know us as is prescribing glasses and contacts, we do that as well. An ophthalmologist, on the other hand, they'll do their 4 years undergraduate degree. Then they go to med school, so they get an MD, Doctor of Medicine, and then they go on to specialize in ophthalmology. So they're your eye surgeons. They're the ones that are doing your LASIK surgery, your cataract surgery, glaucoma surgery, injections into the eye, removing bumps and lumps around the eye. So think of them as your specialists, your eye surgeons. So 2 types of eye doctor. I'm the optometrist. Ophthalmology is more of the surgical practice. So today's objectives, what I want you to take home is some points on how to reduce eye strain and symptoms of computer vision syndrome. We're going to talk about ways to eliminate dry eye, and this is dry eye related to digital device use. We're also going to address some concerns. There's a lot of talk in the media of blue light, so we're going to address some concerns of blue light today and how it affects the eyes, as well as another commonly asked question I have is screen time recommendations for children. So we'll touch a little bit about that at the end of the presentation.
I think we're also doing, you mentioned a giveaway as well, right, Melisa?
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. If you bear with me for my 20-minute presentation, there'll be a nice little giveaway for you at the end of this presentation.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
All right, so just a quick little fun fact here. Your eye's job is actually to focus the light. So your eye's like a camera where it takes an image of what you're seeing and it transfers that image to your brain. So in fact, it's actually your brain that's seeing and not your eye itself. So the eye's job is to focus the light from the outside world, and your brain's going to process that image. And so again, it's your brain that's actually seeing and not your eye. I'm not going to bore you with eye anatomy today, but I do need to point out a few structures because we're going to be talking about a few things in our presentation, and I just want to make sure you know what I'm talking about. So we're not going to go through this whole cross section, just a few key points, a few structures I want to point out. The first one here is your cornea. So that's the clear dome on the front part of your eye. That's what people put contact lenses onto. And one of the purposes of the cornea is to help focus light that's coming in. Behind the light, you have the cornea, you have your iris, and that's the colored part of your eye. Then you have a little opening called your pupil. Now your pupil can change sizes based on the amount of light that's in your environment, or if you're looking up close or far away. So keep that in mind for later slides. And we're going to talk a lot about this structure right here in the eye. And this is called your lens. So your lens is held in place by these little strings here. And the job of these little strings is if you're looking far or if you're looking close, they can pull on the lens or they can loosen it to change its shape. And again, help to focus light in the back part of the eye. So the back part, you might have heard this term before, is called the retina. And that's going to take that all that focused light, and via the optic nerve, it's going to transfer it off to your brain. So that's as much as I'm going to get into with this slide here. But again, just pointing out the key features of some of the eye parts that we'll be talking about today. Okay, so digital device use. Now, what is digital device? What digital device is? Basically any electronics with screens. So that includes your desktop, your laptop, your cell phone, tablet, e-readers, anything like that. And all of these devices are in a relatively close working distance to us. So we call them near vision tasks. Three things happen when we're looking at anything up close. The first thing is that our eyes actually turn inwards. Our focusing system engages, so that's that little strings on the lens we were talking about earlier in the previous slide. And our pupils will actually get smaller to help us focus the light. So what does that mean for our eyes? Well, if we think about digital devices, really in the context of human history, digital devices have not been around for that long. So our eyes are not really adapt to looking at something up close for that the amount of time that we spend doing on these devices. So it can cause near point stress, or what we more commonly call it is computer vision syndrome. Now, some of the symptoms of computer vision syndrome are, I have a list here, and keep in mind, you don't have to have experienced all of them. It can be a single one of these points. You can have a combination of these symptoms or all of them. But typically symptoms are headaches. We get this a lot. It's probably the most common complaint. And there's a variety of reasons why we get headaches, but if it's vision related, computer vision related, it typically happens midday and day. You've been on the computer for a long period of time, you start to get a headache. And the location of the headaches, they tend to be more frontal and temporal, so in that area. You may experience some eye strain, so you're staring at the screen, you feel like you need to blink or rub your eyes. Fatigue is a really common one too, so not only do your eyes feel tired, but can actually affect your whole body. The blurry vision and the distance vision blur, we're going to get into that in some other slides, but blurred vision is also a symptom, and you might even get double vision.
Hey,
So,
Melisa.
yeah.
What do you think the most common symptom people report with with that? Is it eye strain? Is it like, what would be the number one symptom people get?
Headaches and dry eye.
And dry eye. Okay.
Are probably the most common complaints that I get.
Okay.
And then also the general tired feeling is up there too. Those are definitely the most common. Double vision and things like that aren't as common for sure. That's a good question. So I'm going to talk on 4 different points today on how to reduce the eye strain. The first being the working distance. Then we're going to talk about things we can do to control the brightness in our working environment, the importance of blinking, and the importance of taking breaks. So let's dive right into the first one here. I love this infographic. It's perfect. It explains everything quite well. Working distance. So that is the distance from our eyes to our computer screen. So we're going to use the example of a desktop computer. The proper working distance for your desktop computer is anywhere between 40 and 75 centimeters. You want it further away from your eyes. The closer that we bring objects to our eyes, the harder our eyes have to work. So it's really important that we're not bringing things too close. And I find patients, when I see people out in public, their phones, everything, they're holding it really, really close to their eyes. So it's important to keep working distance in mind. The other thing too, when we're positioning our desktop or laptops, is we really want it to be about 4 to 5 inches below our line of sight, or about 20 degrees lower. Very, very important. I do want to show you a way to tell if you're holding things too close. I don't know if Mike, you can maybe switch your screen over to show me for a second. I'm going to demonstrate a little technique here. All right, so this is called the Harmon distance, but what you're going to do to make sure that you're not holding something too close to your eyes is you're going to make a fist and you're going to put it right underneath your chin, and you're going to extend your elbow out, and the distance of where your elbow is, that's as close as you should be bringing things in. So anything closer than this is too close for your eyes. This is good for kids too that are on tablets and things like that. So not just for adults, but children and adults. Again, make a fist, put it under your chin, extend your arm. Where your elbow ends, that's as close as you should be bringing things. So not any closer than that. Okay, so flip that screen back for me.
Hang on there. All right, go ahead.
All right, so working distance again. You don't want things too close, but ideally for desktops and laptops between that 40 to 75 centimeter range. So the next thing I want to talk about is controlling the brightness and glare in your environment. So glare is a sensation caused by excessive light or uncontrolled brightness. And there's a lot of sources of glare in our environment. Digital screens is the main source, but also our work environment itself. We can get glare from overhead lighting or from our work surfaces. So we're just going to touch on some ways that we can reduce the glare in our environment. The easiest way is on your digital device, you can adjust the brightness level. So it's important to know that you want your screen to be as bright as the surrounding. So for example, if your screen is a light source, so meaning it's emitting light, it's too bright. So we need to adjust that brightness. If you find that your screen is a little bit more dull or gray, it's not bright enough. So we need to adjust the brightness again. So key point here is that the screen brightness should be equal to the brightness of the surrounding area. The other thing we can do is control some glare that we're getting from our work environment. So again, a lot of us are working from home, so it might not be the ideal circumstance, but some helpful tips that we can do is, first off, your actual desk. If it's like a metallic desk or something that's emitting light or reflecting light, you might want to consider putting a tablecloth down. If you're working beside a window, you want to make sure that you have blinds or shades that you can control. And also how you're positioning your desktop or your laptop, you want it away from any direct light sources as well. So just a few things that we can make, a few adjustments that we can do at home to reduce glare in our working environment. So the next one, and I can talk about this topic for a long time, but I'm going to make it as brief as possible, but it's the importance of blinking in digital device use. And what's interesting is that studies have actually shown that people on digital devices, actually I should add one more thing. Any near task really that you're concentrating on. So it can be reading a book, looking at Excel spreadsheets. So any near task, which includes digital devices, we actually blink 3 to 4 times less than we would in normal conversation. So why is that important? Well, blinking stimulates your tears to be released. So with every blink, you have tears that come out and they coat the surface of your eye. They lubricate your eye. By lubricating your eye and providing a nice tear layer over the cornea of the eye, the front part of the eye, it prevents scattering of light, so you get clearer vision. It protects your eye. As you know, if you get an eyelash or something in your eye starts watering up. Your eyes work to protect your blinks, and your tears work to protect your eyes by trying to flush out whatever is in there. And it also provides nutrients to the front part of the eye. So blinking, really important. Tear layer is really important when we're talking about clear vision. So on these devices, we tend to blink a little bit less, and we might get some of these symptoms that I have listed off to the side. Again, not all of them. You might experience one or two, a combination of them, but be on the lookout for dryness, if you get blurry or fluctuating vision, if you find you have difficulty wearing contact lenses. And what I mean about that is most people should be able to wear their contacts for 8 to 10 hours. But if you find that after 2 to 3 hours, you have to take the contacts out, again, it might be due to some dryness. Watery eyes, that's a tough one. The watery eyes, some people kind of, when I try to explain that's a symptom of dryness, they're like, well, my eyes are wet, so why are you telling me that they're dry? With the watery eyes, basically there's 2 different types of tear glands in our eyes. We have our maintenance tears that come out with every single blink. And then we have another tear gland, which is your reflex tearing. And that's found in your eyebrow area. So that basically, that system will kick in if we're not blinking enough and our eyes feel that they're dry. So you get this reflex tearing, and that's what causes the watering. So that's more the gland that controls like your emotional tears when you're crying or if you get something into your eye. It's not what we want happening every day when we're on computer screens and things like that. So watery eyes, yes, it is a sign of dryness. You might get some red eyes, some gritty or sandy feeling in the eyes, burning, stinging, or just in general overall discomfort. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about treating dry eye. And keep in mind, this is treating dry eye in relation to computer vision syndrome or digital devices. There are many different sources for dry eye. Some people have medical conditions that cause dry eye. Certain medications can cause dry eye. We're just going to be talking about treating dry eye in relation to using computers and digital device screens.
Hey, Melissa, can I ask you a quick question here? Just coming in from one of our attendees. She just mentioned she has some constant watery eyes. Does that mean she needs to put eye drops in because they're dry?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So again, it's confusing. My eyes are wet, why are they dry? But it's not the type of tears that we want. You need your regular maintenance tears to kick in and sort of take over. There are, if you find that using eye drops isn't solving the issue, you're still getting the watery eyes. And I'm going to mention some other things that you can do as well. But please contact me. You can send a separate email out and I'll give you my information at the end and we can talk about what might be causing your dryness if it might not be related to just the computer vision syndrome. So we can talk about that too. But yes, please use the eye drops. And I saw a question here from someone about a filter on the Samsung.
Yeah, the blue light filter, turning it on at night is a good idea. Yes, no?
Yes, absolutely. I think iPads are equipped with that as well. I'm not too familiar with the Samsung, but if it has a blue light filter, I would recommend it. And we are going to be talking about blue light later on in the presentation. So we'll get more into that as well.
Do you want to save this? There's another question that came in regarding hormones and contacts and stuff. Do we want to save that one to the end maybe?
Let's save that for the end. Dry eye can be a topic on its own. I can talk for hours on dry eye.
Right.
Might have to answer that one separately.
Okay, I'll mark this question down and then we can get to it to the end and we'll go from there. Okay.
Yes, because there's, like I said, there's so many reasons why we can get dryness. It's a great topic. I can talk all day about it. I love it. but I'm going to have you switch the screen over to me because I have some
Yep.
great products that I want to show you.
Sure.
Also works for menopause and dry eyes, so you might want to consider buying one of these products.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna get your video up. Okay, go ahead there, Melissa.
Perfect. So treating dry eye, one, when we're on screens, as I mentioned, we're not blinking as much. So you really want to be conscious of that and try to remember to blink more. I know easier said than done because it's not something we consciously think of. But there are blink training exercises. So one of the doctors recommended every 20 minutes, closing your eyes tightly for 2 seconds and then opening them. So just forcing your tear layer to cover the front surface of the eye. So blink training is one thing we can do. You can put it into a Google search. You'll see some videos and some techniques on that. The other more simpler things to do at home is warm compresses. So I have two products here. One's called the Bruder mask and one's a TheraPearl mask from Bausch & Lomb. So I always recommend using warm compresses. I have patients that tell me all the time they put a tea bag over their eyes or they use a washcloth over their eyes. The reason why I don't recommend that is because you really should have the heat on your eyes for anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And if you're using a washcloth or the tea bags, they're not going to retain their heat for that long. These specific products are meant for the eyes. They will stay hot for 5 to 10 minutes. So I do recommend using something like this. The difference between these two masks, so this is called the Bruder mask. It has this nice little package that it comes in. It's hypoallergenic, it's antibacterial. You put it in the microwave for a few seconds, it heats up, and it actually provides your eyes with moist heat. Moist heat is good. You want the moisture to be added back to your eyes. So this is a great product. I love it. The other one, really easy to find at any drugstore. It's called TheraPearl Eye Mask. We sell them here at Nobleton Optometry as well. This one's great because it can be used for allergy season if you want to put it in the freezer and get some cold therapy to your eyes, or if you want to put it in the microwave to add some heat. It has a strap, easily to clean. You can clean this very, very easily, both of them actually. They're both reusable. And again, it's going to retain its heat for a lot longer than a washcloth would. So 5 to 10 minutes of heat on your eyes. One thing I should mention is the skin around the eyes is extremely delicate. So you don't want it to be too hot. You don't want to irritate the skin around your eyes either. So be conscious of what the level of heat is that you're putting onto the eye. So I see
How often, how often should you use a warm compress?
daily.
Daily, okay.
Daily for 5 to 10 minutes. The other question I'm seeing here is...
They don't have a microwave. Yeah. How can you warm it up?
Great question. So I'm in that same predicament. I do not own a microwave. So there is a great product called the Eyestrain. I meant to bring it in to show you today, but I forgot. So it's Eyestrain. So the Eyestrain. The problem with this mask is it can get a little expensive to use. So it does look very similar to the Bruder mask, but it has these little inserts that you break and they heat up. So it's a one-time use. The problem with that one is you have to buy the inserts and they're about $1 per day of use. So it does get pretty expensive. To be honest, you're probably better buying a microwave and just hiding it in the basement or somewhere and using it to heat up the mask because the pricing, it could add up. But if you're looking for something, it's called the Eyestrain.
How do you spell that again, Melissa? E-Y-E?
E-Y-E-G-I-E-N-E.
Eyestrain, and then this is called the Bruder mask, right? B-R-U-D-E-R. Do you guys carry the Bruder mask at the clinic as well?
Yes. So we sell both of these, and then we can order the Eyestrain as well for the patients that don't have access to a microwave. The last thing I want to talk about is using some artificial tears. Lots of different kinds. It gets very, very, very overwhelming when you're at the pharmacy. I get patients calling me all the time, which drop do I use? First of all, when I see a patient, we're talking about dry eye, I'm very specific with my recommendations. So I will write out what drops I want you to use. But for those of you who maybe don't have those recommendations, we can just talk about a few products. So artificial tears are great. They lubricate our eye, they mimic our natural tears. We really want to be using them anywhere between 2 to 4 times a day. That's important to note because when you buy products like Sustain Refresh Tears, Optive, Tears Naturel, all the ones that you see over the counter, they actually have preservatives in them. So you don't want to use these more than 4 times a day because it can actually cause cause irritation to the front surface of your eye. I'm a big advocate for preservative-free products. I love preservative-free products. We carry quite a few different brands at the office, but you can also find them over the counter. Here's 2 examples. So we have the Thalos and the Highback. Preservative-free is great because if you are in that severe dry eye category, you can use these every hour, completely safe to do so. Then I get the patients that say, I can't get drops in my eyes, what do I do? There's a solution for that as well. There's this company called Candor Vision. Again, you can usually find these at the pharmacy. Great for kids too. It's a spray. So you can close your eyes, spray it onto your eyes, and it'll moisten the area. So there is a solution for everybody, and I try to do a more customized plan with my patients, but there's just a few samples of some products that are available that you can use.
Couple quick questions here, Melissa. First, when's the best time to put on the heat compress, morning or night?
Doesn't matter. As long as you get it in for 5 to 10 minutes a day, it doesn't matter if you use it morning or night.
Okay. And then another question was, what about just splashing water in the eye for eye dryness? Does that help?
That is a fantastic question. I don't recommend that for a few reasons. Water isn't sterile, as these drops are, and water doesn't have the lubricating property, so it's not going to add any moisture to your eyes. These products are meant to mimic your tears and meant to actually lubricate your eye. So good question, don't use water.
All right.
Great.
Perfect. Okay.
It seems like there's a lot of interest in dry eye. Maybe we can do that topic next. I mean, I love it. I love talking about dry eye. I can talk for hours.
All right.
We'll move on to the next topic.
Okay, let me get your presentation back up here.
Okay.
Okay, you're all set to go.
Perfect. All right, breaking. This is really, really simple. We call it the 20-20-20 rule. So all you need to do is look 20 minutes away after you've been staring at a screen for 20 seconds every 20 minutes. So if you can remember the 20-20-20 rule, it will make your life so much better. The reason why we recommend this is because, again, back to that focusing system, that lens with the strings attached to it, when we're staring at screens, what happens is our eyes can actually get locked in it gets locked in. So what happens with that is we're staring for hours and then we look up. Let's say someone's coming into your office, you want to look at the time, a clock across the room, and it's blurry all of a sudden. That's your system that's locking in. It'll take a while for to readjust the focusing system and allow you to see distance. So you might get blurred vision from looking down to up or up looking down kind of thing. So you really want to take a quick break. We're not saying, spend 5-10 minutes away, just a 20-second break, looking 20 feet away every 20 minutes. And that's going to give those tiny, tiny little strings enough time to relax in the eye so your focusing system doesn't get locked in. So something simple that we can do.
So that's the best time. The 20-second time would be a good time to blink then, right? Working on blinking.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's every 20 minutes you can do those blinking training exercises as well. So good for tying that in. Thank you.
All right. That was a question someone asked, so I just tied that in there.
Oh, great.
I got it. Don't worry.
I had the wrong screen open.
Don't worry. I'm on top of it. Don't worry. I got it.
Okay, good. I think now would be a good time to maybe take a little poll.
Okay. All right. Let me throw that up there here. Okay, folks, just as we do, we got a little poll here. All right. Should be coming up any second here. Melissa, let me know when you see it. Should be popping up now. Okay. So everyone can start going through. This is more of an informative poll this week. Melissa can get a good sense of what everyone's responses are.
Yeah,
so
this
we'll
is
wait
for me to gather some information too.
Yeah.
See how people are using their eyes during this quarantine.
All right, lots of people are answering here. Wow, on the second question, no one has answered I don't wear glasses yet. So, look at we're all in this together, right? So All right, getting close. A few more responses coming in, which is good. Okay. All right, I'm going to end that and we'll share the results here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. You can have a look at some of those results, Melissa.
Yeah, so it looks like the majority of people are spending between 4 and 8 hours a day. Most of us are using glasses, and not that many, surprising, that are using the blue blocking anti-reflective coating. So that's great to know, and we'll touch on those people that don't have any coatings on their glasses. We'll touch a little bit about that as well. Perfect. That gives me some great info. So we'll close that poll, and there we go, and start talking about the computer-specific glasses. A lot of people don't know that there are actually many different kinds of glasses. It's not just distance glasses, reading glasses, or bifocals or progressives that people know about. There are actually computer or task-specific lenses. So we call them the office lens. They're meant for people staring at screens. So again, we customize the working distance and looking at spreadsheets or notes up close. So there's no distance portion in it. It's not anything you would be driving with or anything like that. There are computer specific glasses, and what they do is that they correct any prescription that we might have. I find it's very important to correct even small amounts of prescription when you're staring at things up close, because up close they're very fine details. So it's really important to correct even small amounts of refractive error. The computer specific glasses can relieve some of your natural focusing system. It'll do some of the work for your eyes, so it can relieve some eye strain. Really, really important for people over the age of 40. The reason being is that little lens, again, that we showed you in the first diagram with the little strings attached to it, that lens tends to stiffen at the age of 40, so it doesn't focus light as well. And that's really when reading glasses need to sort of take over for us. And then glasses also can reduce glare and reduce blue light. So I see some questions about blue blocking filters versus regular anti-reflective filters. We will get into that in some future slides here, okay? So we'll jump right into the regular anti-reflective coating. I usually do recommend coatings for most of my patients. Anti-reflective coating, also known as an anti-glare coating, is a specific treatment on the lens. And what it does is it actually eliminates any reflections that we get from the front part of the lens and the back part of the lens. So what that means is if you're getting all these reflections, less light's going into your eye. With a glare treatment on the lens, it's blocking the reflections off the front and the back surface of the glasses lens, and it's allowing more light to enter into your eye and providing clearer vision for you. The other main benefits of having a glare coating on your lenses is obviously cosmetically. If you can see these top two pictures here, the lady on the left does not have a glare treatment on her lens. There's a picture of her being taken. You can actually see the reflection of the light coming off of the lens. Whereas the lady on the right here has a treatment and it makes the lens look a lot nicer. It's clear, you can make better eye contact with people. So that's a great feature as well. So cosmetically, it makes the lenses look nicer. And then probably even more importantly is what it does for you when you're driving at night, or let's say in low light conditions, rainy days, things like that. So if you don't have a coating on the lenses, again, you're getting these reflections off the front and the back part of the eye, and they're causing glare and halos to form around lights. So it actually makes driving a little bit more difficult at night, low light conditions, and rainy conditions. So that's the benefit of having an anti-reflective coating. And now for those of you that are asking about the blue blocking coating, we're going to talk about that right now. So there's a lot of information on blue blocking light. You're going to see it coming up on the media a lot too. Blue light, it's important to know why we talk about blue light is because if you look at this color vision spectrum here, the blue light is actually really close to UV light, the wavelength of it. And we know UV light is not great for our eyes. Blue light's emitted from a number of sources, the sun being a main one, fluorescent lights, LED lightings in our offices, flat screen TVs, and then of course our digital devices also are going to be emitting this blue light. So why does that concern us? Well, back to that first slide again, that cornea and that lens, those actually block UV rays. So UV rays aren't hitting the back part of the retina, but they don't block blue light as well. So in animal models, we've seen that it's actually linked to a disease called macular degeneration. It hasn't been proven in human models yet. I think digital device use in the human context hasn't really been around for that long. So there's plenty of studies and research to come. But right now we know in animal models, it has been linked to macular degeneration, and it can cause eye strain. We need to consider the amount of time that we're spending on these devices. Most of you are saying 4 to 8 hours a day, and how close these devices are to our faces. The main thing too, and this has been proven actually, is the effect on sleep. So what happens is when we get up in the morning, light gets into our eyes via the sun or overhead lighting that's emitting that blue light. That blue light actually releases an enzyme in our body. And what it does is it causes the melatonin levels to go down. And that actually causes us to wake up. So let's say children or even adults that are on their Netflix or things like that at nighttime, the computer screens or the screens that we're on are actually emitting this blue light, and it's causing that same effect. So it's going to cause that enzyme to be released, our melatonin levels to drop, and actually makes us more awake. So it's really, really, really important that we do not use digital devices 1 hour before bed, okay? And now we're going to answer, I see again a few questions here about the types of filters. So there are a few types of filters on lenses that are blue blocking specific. There are, you might see like certain lenses that are having a yellow filter to it. It's almost like a yellow tint to it. Or you can have a blue blocking filter that is clear but still doing the same job. Now these two different types of filters will block light differently. The amber yellow ones do tend to block light a little bit more, the blue light. It's going to block about 45% of the blue light. The regular blue blocking coating filters on the lenses can block anywhere between 10 and 30% of that blue light. I do have a sample. I don't know if you're going to see it as well, but I can show you a few examples. And depending on where you're...
Do you want me to pin your video here, Melissa?
Yeah, we can pin it momentarily. Just, I don't know how visible it's going to be, but I just want to show you the difference between the yellow, the amber filters.
And I'll do it now here. And then I got some questions to ask you after you're done this section, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, go ahead.
So I don't know if you can see this, but I have it next to a white sheet of paper, but this is actually one of the samples of the amber or the yellow filters. I don't generally recommend that you use this all day, every day. This is something that would be computer specific. So you, like people that are gamers or spending hours, 8+ hours on the computer, you might want to consider getting the yellow filter. And depending on what company you purchase this from, you're going to hear about Nikon, Hoya, Zeiss. They all make different filters. So the intensity of the yellow might change. And there's ones that are used for indoor and outdoor use. So this is an indoor yellow filter. So again, I recommend that to gamers or people that are spending hours and hours on the computer. And this is an example of the clear blue blocking filter. So you don't see that yellow tint. You could wear this all day. Like, it's not necessarily for, like, if you're a progressive wearer or if you use your distance glasses on the computer, you can put a blue blocking anti-reflective coating instead of the general one. So it is okay to use all day. So
good. All right, can I ask you a few questions here?
Yeah, of course.
So one question from Cindy, does the anti-glare wear off over time?
That's a great question. It can. You're constantly rubbing the lenses. Typically, we recommend every 2 years that you replace your glasses.
Okay.
So if you've had your glasses for 10 years, yeah, the coating might come off, but it shouldn't within like a 1 to 2 year thing.
Okay.
But yes, it can.
And a question from Melinda. She's got a couple here. Can filters actually be put onto the glasses you have already, or is it recommended to get them new, I guess?
So you can add filters. That's a very good question. It's actually built into the lens technology. So you'd have to include it with your initial purchase. It's not something that we can just sort of dip in and add on.
Okay.
It's actually built into the lens itself.
Okay, great. And do contacts come with options for different filters?
Not that I'm aware of. The only interesting thing with contacts is Acuvue Oasis has the one that changes into transition, so it has offers some light protection there. But and I know certain contact lens brands, Acuvue Oasis being one of them, also has a UV filter into it. But specifically blue blocking at this time, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think so.
Okay. All right, I got a couple more here. Are we good, Melissa? Keep answering a few, and then I think
I
we have
only
a
have
few
two more slides after this, so we're, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so let me ask you these because they kind of relate to what you're talking about, right? Let me just get through here. What's the proper way to clean glasses to make them last longer, not ruin the lens?
Great question. You do not want to use tissues or your shirt or things like that
Oh,
to blend this, okay? Because
oops.
that, yeah, you want to make sure you're using a proper cloth. You know, if you want to come for a visit at Nobleton Optometry, I'll be happy to hand them out to you for free.
Oh,
But you
amazing.
want to use a proper cloth to clean it, okay? There are certain sprays as well that are specific for lenses. You can actually spray it and then use the cloth to wipe it. You might see a product called PEEPS, P-E-E-P-S. So that's a pretty neat device. It has a little filter in it, and you put it onto the lens and you can use it to clean it. You can
Okay.
purchase it on Amazon. And then really easy, if you're at home, just put some dish soap on the lenses. If you have Dawn dish soap, that cleans them really, really well. Put some dish soap on the lenses, rinse it with water, and just let it air dry. A dish soap cleans them really well. But again, avoid using tissues, your shirt. You want to use the proper cloths that don't have anything that might scratch it.
Gotcha. Let's see here. How about hang on here, sorry. Is it true that glasses smudge more with anti-reflective coating?
So yes and no. They will smudge. That is one of the downsides of anti-reflective coating. They can smudge a little bit more easily. There are so many anti-reflective coatings, so you really want to make sure you're getting a premium brand, like a good quality one. And the reason being is there's different properties of anti-reflective coatings. So there's ones that have something called hydrophobic coating. So that coating is going to repel water. Most basic anti-reflective coatings will only have that. When you get into the more premium ones, they have something called an oleophobic coating, and that actually will block any oils from the lenses. So that makes it smudge a lot less. So if you're having that smudging issue with your glasses, you want to make sure that you have one of those premium coatings, and you can ask specifically, does it have an anti-smudge or that oleophobic coating on it? But in theory, yes, they will smudge a little more, but if you get more of the premium products, they're a lot better. They smudge a lot, significantly less.
Okay. So there's a couple other questions. So sorry, I'm just going to ask regarding the coding and stuff, and then there's a few other questions which we'll get to at the end, folks. I'm not going to dismiss them. So just going back to the dish soap, the Dawn, even on the glasses with the filters like blue coating, Dawn won't wash that off, right?
It's built into the lens, so you're
Okay,
fine.
so it's kind of impregnated into the lens, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So why don't I'm keeping a track of the questions, everybody. So thank you. There's tons of interest. I'll get to them at the end in our question period because I know you got a couple other things you want to go through, right, Melissa?
Just two more slides.
Perfect. Okay, let's do it.
All right, because I get asked this a lot. So solutions for digital eye strain with children. So this is important. Children cannot self-regulate. Parents need to set limits. You know, they're very, very addicting devices. There have been MRI studies that show that the brain function and structure and changes that happen when children are on digital devices are the same as people who are gamers, alcoholics, or drug addicts. So highly, highly, highly addictive devices. In 2018, just a fun fact, the World Health Organization actually added internet gaming disorder to the international classifications of disease. So
Great.
highly addictive, kids will not self-regulate. It's really important that you set limits for them. Some other helpful tips just to keep in mind, you may want to consider removing any TVs from the bedroom, and you definitely don't want to use screen time during dinner or feeding. Not a good idea. Don't get them used to that habit, okay? I see that a lot. And the last slide is just because I get asked this all the time, and I can do my own presentation on just screen time and the effects that it has on children's eyes, but for the sake of time, we'll say that for another day. These are the recommended guidelines. So it's from the Canadian Pediatric Society. If you have a child at home that is 2 and under, it's recommended that you have absolutely 0 screen time. There's reasons for this and why these guidelines are in place, but again, that's a whole different topic. If you are between the ages of 2 and 4, 1 hour a day, and 5 to 17, you have that limit of the 2 hours per day.
Okay.
We'll get to the rest of those questions now.
Yeah, so well, for those that still have some questions, please put them in the chat. We will be doing the little prize giveaway, guys, so hang tight, and we're just going to get through a few of these questions. And in the meantime, Melissa, if you put up, you have a slide on how people can contact you, correct?
I do. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you send an email off to me, or want to, call the office and have a chat or book an appointment for all of that as well.
So just to get through some of these other questions here, I'll run through here a few of them. One person had asked earlier, they get some headaches when they use the computer after extended periods of time, even with their glasses on. Should I alternate taking them on and off? So I guess that could be part of a physio question and an eye health question. Sometimes, I mean, people who are on computers, speaking as a physio, people will get headaches, cervical related headaches, because of the posture of actually how they're looking at their screen. We tend to kind of start lurching our head forward, and that starts to tighten up muscles at the back and the base of our skull, which often lead to sort of cervical tension related headaches. Any comment on the glasses portion, whether they should be alternating taking their glasses on and off?
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, about the tension related headaches, because oftentimes if it's not vision, it's that. So if I've done my assessment and I see that the patient is in the proper glasses and doing everything sort of that we talked about, then yes, I will recommend they see a physio, chiro, RNT or something, because it can be tension related. To answer that specific question, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that. First, when was your last eye exam? Are your glasses up to date? We do recommend coming every 1 to 2 years. You really want to make sure that the glasses are up to date and they are the proper glasses. Some people have glasses for distance, and I see them wearing them on the computer. If you're nearsighted, you don't really, again, it depends on your age. There's a lot of factors that go into this. It's hard for me to give you an answer because I don't know the background. I don't know the age, all that, and what the glasses are actually for, if they're distance glasses, if they were meant for reading glasses. So generally, if you're in the proper glasses, if they're meant for computer screen, you've talked with your optometrist, that's what they recommended, then I would say you keep them on. Glasses should not be contributing to headaches. They should not be causing like that eye strain or the headaches that you're feeling. They're supposed to do the opposite. They're supposed to alleviate all those symptoms. So it's either not the correct prescription, or what Mike was saying, it might be actually tension related.
Okay, so then sort of leading into that, you were starting to talk about it. A couple questions. How often should you get your eyes checked if you don't wear glasses yet?
Great question. So 19 and under, I generally recommend coming in annually because your eyes change so much during that time frame. It's also covered by OHIP during that time too, so no excuses. Kids should get their eyes checked whether or not they see well enough. There's a lot of conditions that might be brought up through a regular eye exam. 65 and older, we generally recommend coming in annually as well, because that's when things like cataracts and certain diseases are more prone to happen. The 20 to 64 range, I generally like to see my patients annually. I think it's important. I think, this topic was just on digital eye strain, but by looking in the eyes, we can tell a lot about the body. We can detect diabetes, uncontrolled diabetes and things like that. There's a lot that we can tell from an eye exam. I recommend annually. Unfortunately, most insurance companies only cover every 2 years. At the very minimum, like I wouldn't stretch it beyond that. So once every 1 to 2 years is the recommended time frame.
Okay, so adults between 20 and 64 every 1 to 2 years.
Yep.
Kids under 19 every year. It's covered by OHIP.
Yep.
And over 65, you recommend annually because there's a lot more health conditions that can arise, correct?
Exactly, and also covered by OHIP.
Okay, over 65 as well. Great. Okay, so Loretta here, she had asked, where do you purchase a blue blocking filter for our cell phones? So I think we've answered this before. There's a feature built into the phone where you can adjust you can put on like the night mode, which changes the blue light filter, and it changes it to a kind of yellowy hue. So it's built into the phone, as far as I'm aware. There's a feature in your settings on the phone that you can account for that, and it'll pop on automatically at a certain time. It'll change the light. You're aware of that too, right, Melissa?
Absolutely. You can also, if you don't want to purchase glasses with the blue blocking filter, what you can do is we can actually make you like a custom clip on that sort of like those solar clips that you slap onto your glasses. We can do that with the filter as well. If you don't want to have blocking built in right into your glasses as well, you can buy just a snap-on piece that's customized for your glasses as well.
So Dana, great tip. She said if it's not built into your phone that you have, search for a blue blocker app. So there are apps out there that you can get as well. So thanks for that, Dana.
Yeah, I've heard about the iFlux app, and I have heard about them. I haven't done any research into it, but yes, that is a great tip. So thank you for bringing that up.
And previous or a little earlier, we'll do the giveaway here in a second, folks. Can both anti-reflective and blue blocking be put on the glasses collectively?
No. So you either get the general reflective coating, which still will block reflections and cause glare coating, or you choose the blue blocking filter. So it's one or the other. The blue blocking filter does act as a general anti-reflective coating as well, though. So it's still going to limit the amount of reflections off the front part and the back part of the lens. It's just like it's like the regular anti-reflective coating with the addition of the blue blocking filter added into it.
Great. Okay, so there's a couple remaining questions which I think we can certainly answer. Let's do the giveaway, and then we'll go back to these couple questions. Linda, there's another question as well about eye tension. So we can go back to those, but I think a lot of people are hanging around. This has been really, really informative, Melissa. I think it's great. This has been great. There's a lot of interesting questions. Yeah, so let's do that. As always, I'm going to just pop my screen on, Melissa. You can just leave yours as is here. All right. So I, as always, love to do my spinning wheel of names here. Everyone loves this. So you can see that, right, Melissa?
I can see it.
Okay, so I'm going to spin this wheel. What are we giving away, by the way?
Great question. We're going to give away an eye mask and some preservative-free eye drops for those of you having that dry eye-related computer vision syndrome.
Okay, so here's the one giveaway. The two items together, we're going to have the one giveaway. Here we go.
Together.
So, and then I'll be able to check my, see who's here from the participants. So, all right, here we go. Here comes the spin. Let's see who the winner is. And we'll see if they're here. Dale, I think, is Dale here? Let me have a quick look. Oh, I don't see her. She's not here. All right, this happened last time. We're gonna need to redraw, okay? Because I don't see Dale here. All right, I'm gonna re-spin here because I can tell who's in on our list here, Melissa.
All right.
Who do we got? Oh, Enor G. Enor, I know who he is. Did he hang around or did he leave? Oh, he might have left. Yes, I think he did. I saw him earlier, but he's not around, so we're gonna keep going here. Oh, darn. Okay, here we go. This happens every time.
It's nice weather today, so I don't blame them.
Darren, is Darren in here? I don't see Darren in there. No, no Darren. Okay, we're moving on. Here we go. Some people leave early and they miss out. Who do we got? Lisa. Is Lisa, let me see here. Last name starting SM. No, she's not in right now. It's a different Lisa. And again, we could do this all day here. Who we got? Mary. Is Mary here? Yes. I see her. Mary, type in the chat. You're here. Is she here? I think she is. I see her name. There she is. Wait, here we go. Chat. I am here.
Perfect.
Oh, Mary, we'll be in touch. Melissa will be in touch with you for that giveaway, guys. So that's awesome. We'll go back to just answering a few questions here, Melissa, if you want to pop your screen back up. Just before everyone takes off, next week is our last session of this webinar series with Dr. Mallory Reinthaler, our naturopath here in Nobleton. So we look forward to having you all there. She's got her talk on spring detox, which will be amazing. So come and attend that one. We look forward to that last webinar with you guys, and hopefully we'll get a whole new set of topics going in the near future. Just to kind of touch base, a couple last questions here, Melissa, if you don't mind. The lights that are out there for depression, do they emit a lot of UV rays? Are those lights dangerous, or?
You know, I don't know too much about them, but I can tell you I've had patients use those lights and they've actually caused really severe burns to their cornea. So they come in as an emergency. I don't know too much about them, to be honest, but I can't, from what I've seen, the damage from them, I don't know if I would recommend them.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't give you, I don't know too much about them, unfortunately.
Okay. And there was another question. Someone asked about relieving eye tension. They rub their temples, press their hands over their eyes, or they go into a dark room. I guess this is kind of a multi-factor question. Is it maybe their neck posture? Could it be, maybe their desk setup? There's a variety of reasons why. Maybe their eyes are bugging them, or they're getting headaches or whatever. So for that person who's asking the questions, please do reach out to Melissa, or even if you're interested, you can reach out to me here at Nobleton Physio as well. And we can certainly help answer that question for you. Lastly, in the chat, Helen wants to know, when will your office be open again? Listen, this is the question everyone wants to know. When are we open again? God, I would like to say now, but we gotta wait, eh, Melissa?
Yes. Hi, Helen. We do have to wait for the directive too. So we have to wait for our college to tell us that it's okay and it's safe to reopen. Our office, and I'm sure yours is as well, is we are open for urgent care. So if there is something happening, we don't want you to go to the emergency department. We'd rather open up the office. We do have protective equipment. We are equipped to see urgent care at this time, but for routine eye exams, your guess is as good as mine. I really hope we can start seeing our patients soon, because I miss everybody. So, and I'm sure you're in the same position there. You're offering urgent care.
Yeah, same thing. We're waiting for the directive to change from the medical officer. One other question, Stu wrote, if he already has glasses, I'm assuming from a different vendor, he can come by to get this clip-on blue blocking feature, correct, with you? Okay, perfect. So Nobleton Optometry, Stu, If you search for Nobleton Optometry, Melissa's there and can certainly help you out. Other than that, I think that's kind of it. It looks like everyone's happy. They've gotten all their answers to their questions. Thanks again, everyone. We love the support. We love the great feedback. I will be sending an email out with a quick feedback form so that Melissa and I both learn about how we can improve and be better at what we do here, and making sure that we're providing the best possible care to everyone in the King Township region and around. Okay, so you don't have to live here to come and see us or talk to us. So thanks again, Melissa. That was awesome. Amazing. Thanks for your time, and that's it, everyone. And make sure you go out and get your basil and your parsley now.
Yes. Those that told me where to find it. I'm going to go right after
Yes,
this.
exactly. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thanks for attending. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye, Melissa. Thank you.
Bye.